Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga etc. I'm here today to begin the review for Vamp Manga chapter 26. Again, one focus, and that is on beating the final boss. So the first thing I want to say is that coming off the last chapter, Kaz losing her arms, I personally felt like that this wasn't gonna stick, and I still don't think it's still gonna stick. I'm not 100% convinced yet, but just based on how the chapter goes, interactions from different characters and such, it looks like it's gonna stick, but I'm not convinced yet. So I'm still in the mindset of how Kaz will get her arms back in some sense. It's basically blatantly not an illusion at this point, but Kaz will get her arms back in some shape or form. I don't know, maybe Magi, however you want to pronounce it, comes into play here. But I feel like she's gonna get her arms back in some shape or form. I don't think she'll be becoming a cyborg. So the second thing I want to address about this chapter is the whole whatever MK2 did, because he had some sort of, I don't know what it was, out of body experience, some sort of Shaman King technique. I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. We see a humanized form of him within the last chapter and again within this chapter, and that's not explained, that's not addressed. That blatantly should have been something that was addressed within this chapter. A passing line through any character, it would be most convincing coming from someone from the younger generation. Nick, Kaz, maybe not Kaz because she's in a whole lot of pain right now, or Lancelot. What the hell is going on there, and then address it that way so we know what exactly he did there, and then that could come later in the one-on-one fight, which I'll get to later on. But really feel like that should have been something that should have been addressed immediately, on the spot immediately. So we start off this chapter with Nick basically feeling like he is to blame for Kaz's pain, and we see him going through an emotional state, and rightly so. He has lost a lot during his life, so it does make sense for him to go into emotional state. At this point in the chapter, I thought, okay, cool, Puppet's coming back, but he does manage to calm himself down via I guess Kaz's help, because Kaz is there to tell him, like, it's not all on you, it's not all about you. I decided to be here myself. It is my reason, essentially, why I was gonna say decapitated, but that's not the case. Why she doesn't have no arms right now. And it's through this speech, he does calm down, and I'm not sure if it's at that point, but at some point within the chapter, Billie Jean says, all right, cool, you're starting to look like a king, you're starting to talk like a king now. And now I can admit Nick has matured. Before, within the early volumes, it's all about, for him, his motivation seemingly was revenge, and now within this chapter it seems like he's kind of probably still got revenge in his mind, don't get me wrong, but he's moved off of revenge and more on protecting the people that he cares about. And now I would say he matured, but I wouldn't say he's acting like a king such. So Billie Jean, that was a bit of a stretch to say that there. Okay, so that's what I want to say on that. Okay, so the next thing I want to address after that is Magi limit break. So I've said previously about how the battle system is a mess. I haven't gone into great detail with it yet, but adding the Magi limit break within this chapter, again, we're adding to the battle system, which I've said is a mess. So wasn't really impressed to see that added there, and it's a bit weird. Because I'll explain in a second. But what I do like is that this was given a full explanation, but again, in that sense, it's weird as well, because we haven't got a full explanation on the basics of Magi. But I feel like Magi limit break has been better explained than that has, and that bugs me, because imagine it like this. I'm sure there's a lot of Naruto fans within the people who watch this video, but imagine it like this. It's like the equivalent of finding out what the Mangekyo Sharingan or the internal Mangekyo Sharingan can do before finding out what the normal Sharingan can do. That is why it bugs me. I hope you can get it from that. So another thing that bugs me about this Magi limit break, or it's probably Magi overall, is the whole thing of what exactly is its limitations. Because within this chapter we see Nick use the mass shadow mass shadow teleportation and assassination technique. And I'm like, okay, cool. Shadows and assassination, I can see the relation there. You know, ninjas, they work within the shadows to do assassination. I can see the link there. But teleportation, don't really see a link there. So what is there? A fire, shadow and assassination technique, magic technique, water one, all the elements? So I'm going, that's where my confusion lies. Magi hasn't been explained properly. It's messy. It's messy. It's messy. So within this chapter, regardless of the messiness, that's exactly what Nick does. And it's the start of what I... Because I hope it doesn't go this route, but I will talk about it. So Nick uses his Magi limit break to teleport everybody else away from the danger zone, leaving it to be a one-on-one fight between him and MK2, sorry. And now I have previously stated, if it was the last review, how I feel like it was a good thing because Nick and Kaz couldn't put even a scratch on MK2, and now I feel like we are heading down the path where, because he's now using the magic break, because it's a one-on-one scenario, because of the blood pack, which essentially is a senzu bean, which Nick shouldn't have taken, by the way, because Nick shouldn't have taken, by the way, because of he shouldn't have been entrusted him. He shouldn't have trusted MK2, you know, because he's the villain. He doesn't know what that was. He could have been anything, so he shouldn't have trusted him in that regard. One thing I did like, though, about the whole of MK2 giving Nick the blood pack is because it shows, you know, I've called him an agent of chaos, and that adds to that side, and, you know, just shows him how he's cocky, probably overconfident, but maybe he's not overconfident. Maybe it's just him being the agent of chaos that he is, but I'm overconfident and cocky. There's kind of the vibes I'm getting of him right now. So I feel like that adds to his character, giving him more personality, or just rather adding to the personality I feel like he already has. So that was a nice touch as well. So we're going down the path where it shouldn't be the case, and even MK2 says it himself. You're unexperienced. You're young and inexperienced. Only 2 people in my lifetime have been able to beat me so far. So Nick shouldn't be able to do it, even if he does get the fresh start. Which does he really need? Because in this fight with Gabriel, he wasn't really injured. And in this fight so far he's had with MK2, again, hasn't been really injured. So it just all seemed like plot armor kind of stuff. And if you don't know what I mean by that, is when because the main character is protected, because he's the main character, obviously, so therefore we know at the end of the day, if he needs to come out on top, he's going to come out on top. This is kind of the thing where I feel like this is kind of the route we are heading out down toward, because that's the way James has simply set it up now. He just separated everybody else from them, and he just left it on a one-on-one scenario. So speaking of the teleportation, so we get the teleportation, we find out they're separated. Before they arrive in the area they are in, we have Jasper and Anna, they are talking, and how something about Jess. They're arguing about Jess, but we don't exactly find out what. And everyone arrives, and the person who was after someone in particular, a boy, mentions that the boy is not here right now, and now that makes it seem heavily that it's applied to be Nick. But I noticed that how when you see everyone being teleported, you see everyone, I'm pretty sure it's everyone except for Inkra. And now I know Inkra's genderless right now, but you know, let's throw it in there as well. But also Lancelot. So I feel like I feel like James is trying to use Nick as a dummy, but it's really Lancelot that they're after. But another problem I have with this scene is that, yeah, okay, cool, they got separated, but none of the adults seem to be on the mindset of, all right, cool, we need to get back up there. So what, they're just going to leave it to Nick now? Young, inexperienced Nick. just not making no sense. It doesn't seem too realistic. So for me right now, but that's essentially what we got, and I think that is everything I want to say about this chapter. We are moving at a very steady pace, which I do like. Probably wrap this up within a chapter or two, and then have the last remaining chapters to just round up the arc. Because obviously this volume is called End to a Bloody Arc. So yeah, I think that's everything I got to say. I'm gonna give this chapter a 3-star rating. And like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.